Anybody who doesn't know me, I'm Phil Smith. I'm the Director General of ISBA, and it's my very great pleasure to welcome you to the ISBA President's Lunch 2023, which is sponsored by our friends at Samsung Ads. Thank you. This lunch is the cornerstone of the ISBA calendar. It's an opportunity for us to spend time with our members and with the wider marketing, media and advertising community in what we hope is a relaxed and convivial atmosphere. It's certainly noisy. It's really great to see so many of you here when you could be gainfully employed elsewhere, even working from home. ISBA, as I'm sure you all know, is the only trade body that represents brand owners and advertisers in the UK. And we do it through the support not just of our members, but also the organisations in our partnership programme and the many agencies, trade bodies, media owners, intermediaries and consultants with whom we work day in, day out. As always, we have a fantastic after-lunch speaker lined up, and I'm very much looking forward to welcoming Torsten Bell to the stage after our main course. But most of all, the lunch is an opportunity for the ISBA President to set the scene. Last year, she couldn't be here in person, but I am very pleased to say that Margaret Jobling, CMO of NatWest and ISBA President, is very much present today. We'll definitely do a bit of that. I was thrilled when Margaret agreed to be the next president in 2022, and over the last year, her wise counsel, week in, week out, and her commitment to our priorities has been a huge support. So, with no further ado, let me welcome to the stage ISBA President Margaret Jobling.
So thank you, Phil, for that lovely introduction, and welcome to all of you for the 2023 ISBA President's Lunch. It's wonderful to see so many members here today. And it's your commitment to really helping us set and drive the ISBA agenda that makes the difference. So, and it's also lovely to see so many peers from the wider advertising and marketing industry. And one of the things I'll talk about later is just the importance of cross-industry collaboration. It's something that really does drive better outcomes when we work together. So this is my second year as ISBA President. How time flies when you're having fun. And if last year has taught me anything, it's the importance of having a strong representative voice for marketeers in the UK. And I want to say the work Phil and the ISBA team are doing to ensure we have transparent, responsible and accountable advertising environment is absolutely vital. So thank you, Phil. This has never been more true in a world today which marketeers operate in. And I can summarise it in one word: complex. So we need to be able to manage ever-growing levels of complexity in an external environment that is more uncertain than ever. So I've been in marketing for over 30 years. I know I look very young, don't tell me. But I can honestly say the role of the CMO has transformed. So if I think back to when I started, you're responsible for some creative development, some brand management, a bit of media planning. Today, all of the above, but in addition, end-to-end customer experience, data and analytics, how MarTech stacks works, digital marketing, finance, regulation. Oh, and by the way, you need to speak the language of the boardroom. If you feel sorry for me yet? However, that's before we get to worrying about sustainability, diversity and inclusion, and the well-being and mental health of our teams. So there is a lot on the marketeer's plate today. And we know we have an ever-increasing vocabulary. Programmatic, generative AI, metaverse, the list could go on and on and on. They weren't even on the radar if you go back 10 years ago. So how quickly does the industry change? And yes, they promise to be transformative, but they will also come with some challenges for us. So not a day goes by in my working day without talking about AI. Is anyone else on the same boat as me? So guess what? I'm going to talk about AI. And I'm just going to use it as a microcosm of the complexity. So last month, Education Secretary Gillian Keenan discussed the importance of digital skills and artificial intelligence at London Tech Week. She announced the government will be opening a call for evidence to seek views and experiences of business leaders on the use of artificial intelligence. It was announced that the scope of this review would include large language data models, such as ChatGPT, Google Bard, amongst others. And that's just the start. In other news, heads of ChatGPT developer OpenAI have signed a statement along with many AI experts warning of the need to address the human extinction risk associated with artificial intelligence. This statement reads, "Mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority alongside other societal scale risks, such as pandemics and nuclear war." So this is something we should not be taking lightly. That's not to say AI should be feared. Personally, I do see it as an enabler. I think it has the potential to speed our ability to develop great creative solutions. I also believe in the power of people. So I find it really hard to believe the thing that makes brilliant advertising campaigns brilliant will be replaced by the machine. So I can see how it will raise the floor. I yet see how it's going to really raise the ceiling. So to solve the problems of today, we need to work together to manage the new challenges we face, which means it's essential we have strong, transparent relationships, we have aligned agendas with our agency partners, and of course, great contracts in place too. So our advertising media ecosystem has also become increasingly complex, leading to advertising audience fragmentation. The number of ad formats are proliferating faster and faster, and different characteristics on different devices, and the classification of these formats is increasingly difficult. Whilst this is the most obvious on web and social, we're also seeing it on TV, connected TV with AdVoD and fast platforms and increasing amounts of inventory. The need to be able to measure these various channels has never been more acute. Always on, cross-media measurement has been the holy grail of marketing, not just in the UK, but in the whole of the world. And it's the only way I think we will be able to ensure our campaigns are targeting the right people, are the most effective and efficient. So I know you've heard a lot about Origin, but all I will say is for me, it is a real game changer. I know it hasn't been the easy of roads to travel. I don't know if Tom George is here, he's probably 20 years older now than he started it. But it's because it's really hard. It's complex. There are lots of voices at the table that need to be managed. However, we have made huge progress on that agenda, and we're well on the way to having a solution. And in case you missed it last week, ISBA announced that we're going to start live testing with real data, which again, that is an incredible achievement. So I would say well done to Tom and the team. Programmatic buying has always been complex. You only need to look at the Lumascape to see the incredible numbers of suppliers in the buying chain and the myriad of journeys and the distance the ad travels before it hits the publisher site. And as we saw with the ISBA Programmatic Supply Chain Transparency Study in 2020, it was really hard to get the data and then to be able to order. I'm pleased to say, following a unique collaboration with AOP, AOB, IPA and ISBA, say that after a few glasses of wine, who basically formed the Programmatic Task Force, we created a great data permissioning toolkit to facilitate audits. The rerun of the supply chain in 2022 showed that we've made marked progress in our ability to order, which again is brilliant testimony to the industry coming together to work on problems and create great solutions. So, talking of complexity, we've been eyeing an incoming tide of regulation and legislation for some time, and now it's all turned up at the same time. We have everything everywhere for everyone. And I'm sure Torsten's going to touch on this later. On the government side, potential turmoil and changing ministerial priorities have given way to uncertainty of what will be in parties' manifestos as we head towards a general election next year. On the issues we do have clarity, new food and drink legislation, brands are trying to work out how to find and fit the two sets of legislation into who they can market to and where. Some pieces of legislation continue to trudge their way through Parliament, such as the Online Safety Bill, where a new issue seems to be found every few weeks. And still others are just getting underway, from the establishment of the Digital Markets Unit at the CMA in the Digital Markets Bill to new rules around data and cookies in the Data Protection Bill. And that's just in Parliament. You start bringing in regulation into the picture, there's way more to stay ahead of. Some of it quite fundamental, I think, to the sorts of campaigns we're going to be able to run in the future. So we've heard, for instance, the uncertainty around environmental claims in ads. And what I think in the ASA have laid out what that guidance means for brands. This is going to be so important. Regulation is important in this space. I think brands will be the driving force of changing customer behaviour and helping customers on a more sustainable route to net zero. There are also specific sector rulings like the activity of the CMA or the FCA, and also what's going on across the channel with the EU moving forward on digital services, digital markets and green claims. Being able to keep pace with all of this as a marketeer is nigh on impossible as an individual. We have to come together as one industry with one voice to really drive and influence the agenda and not to be done unto. So, what does it all mean? So what I would say in conclusion is, yes, the world is bonkers. Yes, it's ever more complex. Yes, marketing needs to figure it all out. But actually, there are 3 things I know for sure. Marketing is a team sport, and we have to come together now more than ever to solve some of the challenges of our time, like climate change. The cornerstone of our industry is trust and transparency. We know it's hard won, but very, very easily lost. And we have to hold it precious and work together to drive the trust and transparency in our industry. And the third thing, which is what I say all the time at work, is the person that buys your beer on a Friday night is the tune you dance to. And as a marketeer, that is our customers. And we have to keep our customers' needs front and centre because they're living in an ever-changing world, and we as trusted brands have to help them navigate that complexity. So thank you and enjoy your main course.